TVG.com Haskell Stakes.
Goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off in the TVG.com Haskell. And Following C comes out running for the lead. Hot Rod Charlie has speed too. And Midnight Bourbon outside of that pair. The top three separated by less than a length in the early going. Mandaloon settles down on the inside, a joint fourth, and about 3 lengths off the early action. Pickin' Time is between horses. Basso outside of that pair, and Anti-Gravity is at the back of the field. They have about 6 furlongs to go, and it is Following C who will set the pace, prompted by Midnight Bourbon, who's just a neck back second. Hot Rod Charlie has backed off, 2 off the pace in third. Down at the rail, it's Mandaloon in fourth. He has about 4 lengths to make up. Pickin' Time is in between horses. Basso outside of him, and Anti-Gravity. They're heading to the half-mile pole in the TVG.com Haskell. Following C and Joel Rosario lead the way by a half length. Midnight Bourbon has been keeping him company. Mandaloon, a threatening presence in third, tugging his way forward. Hot Rod Charlie is just outside of him. And then it's a gap of 4 lengths to Basso on the outside of Pickin' Time and Anti-Gravity. The new leader is Midnight Bourbon with a 1/4 mile to go, confronted by Hot Rod Charlie on the outside. Mandaloon pink cap, Following C at the rail. Here comes Hot Rod Charlie unleashed, and Mandaloon comes through with a smart move, and these two will fight it out. Hot Rod Charlie, taking and losing the rider was Midnight Bourbon in mid-stretch. It's Hot Rod Charlie, Mandaloon, Hot Rod Charlie. Here's the line. Photo finish in the TVG.com Haskell. Very close between Hot Rod Charlie and Mandaloon. It was a long way back. Following C and Anti-Gravity. Losing the rider in mid-stretch was Midnight Bourbon.
In the TVG.com Haskell, but obvious concern for Paco Lopez aboard Midnight Bourbon, who appeared to stumble down the stretch. We do have eyes on Midnight Bourbon currently, who is galloping out into the first turn. As soon as we get any information on Paco Lopez, we will bring it to you. A lot to unpack here, Randy.
Yeah, listen, that was as weird as it gets because he didn't break down. Apparently, he's galloping by everybody now. He looks healthy and sound, does Midnight Bourbon. Paco Lopez is still laying on the track. He's obviously injured in some capacity. But I don't think it was caused by anything other than Midnight Bourbon misstepping through the stretch. But, you know, to the winner, I don't know who it was yet. Mandaloon came back on Hot Rod Charlie, who appeared to be on his way to victory, leaving the 8th pole. As we look at Paco Lopez on the ground.
You can see being attended to by the EMTs here. Paco Lopez dropped from Midnight Bourbon down the stretch. You do see Midnight Bourbon. He was corralled by the outrider there and will be loped back to be unsaddled. Frank Miramati has an announcement.
He's already been disqualified, has Hot Rod Charlie, for drifting over, impeding the path of Midnight Bourbon. Thus, Midnight Bourbon clips the heels of Hot Rod Charlie and falls.
He came to the inside about 2 paths, did Hot Rod Charlie.
The horse, again, we saw Midnight Bourbon cross the wire, gallop out, was corralled by the outrider. Okay, and Paco Lopez loaded into the ambulance. So the stewards are the officials of our sport, took a look at this and deemed that Hot Rod Charlie did affect Midnight Bourbon, creating this incident, and have placed him last.
It looked like the left front of Midnight Bourbon clipped heels with the